Chapter number 25. My grandbabies. The first time I had both grandsons in my arms was one night soon after Jaden was born. I offered to babysit because I knew Britney and Kevin needed time together, and besides, I was dying to have those little ones to myself. I had 14-month-old Preston and 2-month-old Jaden in my bed with me as I watched TV. They were both wearing the coziest terry-cloth footy pajamas, and they were both nestled close by my side. It was the warmest, snuggest feeling. It had been a long time since I had babies all cuddled up with me in bed, and I was in grandma heaven. When you are older and can look back with the wisdom hindsight brings, you see the times that you were on autopilot when you were young. I don't know about you, but I feel as if I didn't really savor the precious moments I had when my own babies were little. I was trying so hard to make a living, to keep them bathed, in clean clothes, with hair combed and nails clipped, essentially, to keep my head and theirs above water. I strove to keep the house tidy and good meals on the table, while juggling their school, extracurricular activities, and keeping up with other family and friends. Basically, I was like other mother, short on time and with a long laundry list of items to check off. Before I was satisfied, my brood was being raised properly and my house was being managed as it should be. I wish now I had soaked in the beauty of the moment, taking the time to really enjoy my children when I had them with me. And the truth of the matter is, even when the dishes were done and the homework supervised, I still didn't always savor the little things, because my mind was 1,000 miles away, on my marriage, our business travels, how I would manage to pay the electric company. I don't think I am the only 50-something mom, however, to look back and think that times she cheated her children out of her undivided attention when they were young. And we all know the person who we really cheated was ourselves, because we can get those years back. Sometimes when you become a grandparent, you can redeem some of the lost time and pour it into our grandchildren. I look at Preston, who is Britney Jean all over again, and Jaden, and I am determined to delight in them with my whole heart and mind, giving them all the energy and focus and excitement I have and they deserve. Mothers, all we can really do is learn from our mistakes, golden time misspent, and do better in the here and now. Right now, I want to play, nurture, and be present with my grandchildren in every valuable moment I am given. Preston. Britney had been trying to get pregnant. I thought she should hold off on that a bit, seeing as she and Kevin had only been married for a few months. A marriage needs time to settle, I told her, and there was plenty of time for children later on. But I couldn't help feeling a little bit excited too, at the prospect of a grandbaby, which is why my girlfriend and I drove to the drugstore one day and brought Britney a pregnancy test. Can you imagine the flurry of media attention Britney would have had if she had been the one to pick up that test? The paparazzi would have flocked to Kenwood sooner than you could say Stark. Britney and Kevin were visiting us in Louisiana, and she took the test at home. She broke the news to Kevin first, and then to her family. They were exciting. I was over the moon. At the time, I wasn't even 50 yet, although my age was the last thing on my mind. All I could think of was that there was a beloved little one coming to us. A sweet baby to read storybooks to and bake cookies with and rock to sleep. And when I found out the baby was a boy, I couldn't wait. Instantly. Memories of baby Brian flooded my mind, and I was sure this baby would be every bit as sweet, as gorgeous as my own baby. Of course, I was right. Sean Preston Federline stole my heart from the moment I saw him. Roots. I wish I could tell you that I had a wonderful, tight bond with my own grandparents and that those memories informed the way I relate to my own grandbabies, but it wouldn't be true. My mother's parents were British, and I had never even met my maternal grandfather. My grandmother, Portel, was a classic English bulldog type of lady, bossy and with a stark to spare. I knew Daddy's parents better, but not much. Even though we would visit them every Sunday after dinner, they were aged and sicky by the time I was old enough to remember them. Britney was crazy about her grandma, Lexi, and the feeling went both ways. I have a clear memory of this dear lady running up and down the hill by our house with her thrilled great-granddaughter in a wagon. That was one tough old bird. Folks in town knew her from the fish shop where she worked, and let me tell you, she had a reputation for being a touch crusty. But her soft spots were Jamie and our kids. We couldn't have done without her. Literally, when I ran my daycare, I'd breastfeed baby Britney early in the morning and turn her over to Grandma Lexi's care while I went to work. She was such a godsend. What does shape my impressions of grandparenthood are my memories of how my parents and Jamie's and his grandma Lexi loved my kids. When Brian was little, he spent many hours with Mama when I was trying to finish my degree. She absolutely adored him, and he returned her attention in full measure. Sometimes he would spend the night with my mother at the dairy farm where I grew up. They would get up in the morning and she would give him delicious pastries and an itty-bitty dim-stays cup filled with hot chocolate. Mama would take him to the barn, and as she would feed the calves, Brian would hold the milk buckets. My boy was just learning to talk, and he picked up on his grandma's English accent and would say words like potato and barn with a crisp British intonation. By the time Jamie Lynne was born, Mama was already in very bad shape with her arthritis hurting so much, and she died right before Jamie Lynne turned 2. I wish both of my parents could have lived to a ripe old age and could have been a real presence in my children's lives. A rock-solid core relationship for them to find shelter and wisdom. Sometimes I wonder what Mama and Daddy would have said about all of this craziness surrounding Britney, Jamie Lynne, and all of us. They were from another era, a time when character counted more than celebrity, and when your word was your sacred trust. I think the land of pretend that is Hollywood would have struck them as another planet in the galaxy altogether. Glittery on the surface, but spirituality bankrupt underneath. They would have wanted their grandchildren as far away from all that as possible. I want to be that sturdy, unwavering presence in my own grandchildren's lives, a soft landing place for Preston and Jaden, anchored by the foundation their great-grandparents gave me.